be withdrawn in a friendly way by those who tabled it so that we proceed with the adjustment as usual. Is this an option? Is this a possible consensus? Or are our hands tied?
For example, if Mr. Souza wishes to withdraw this motion entirely and leave it to the chair to book 1 hour with one minister and a second hour with the second minister with their officials for the subs, as we've done in the past, we could do it on UC. I see no one else for a speaking list, so why don't we tend to the vote for Mr. Genuis's amendment.
The vote is on the amendment by Mr. Genuis to remove the main estimates 2024-2025 and their respective departmental plans. Ms. Sidhu.
No.
Mr. Baines.
No.
Mr. Jahouri.
Against.
Mr. May.
Against.
Mr. Souza.
No.
Ms. Block.
Yay.
Mr. Genuis.
Yes.
Mr. Brock.
Yes.
Madame Vignola.
Oui.
Mr. Backrack.
Yes.
It's 5-5, sir.
And I vote yes as well.
Carried.
So,
This motion as amended.
yeah, we're now back to Mr. Souza's motion as amended with Mr. Genuis's amendment and Madame Vignola's amendment having been accepted. Mr. Souza?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to, I don't know if I can amend my own amendment now, my own motion, to reduce it now to 60 minutes.
No.
My colleagues, I refer to
Okay,
the
are you
Vice
giving
Chair.
up the floor to someone else?
I give up the floor to the Vice Chair.
Mr. Jahouri?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move an amendment to that motion that will limit the appearance of the ministers to 1 hour only.
Are you suggesting 1 hour side by side or 1 hour then 1 hour?
At this point, looks like it's going to be 1 hour and 1 hour. Because the 1 hour side by side, we had offered 1.5 hours side by side, but it was not accepted. If I'm honest, not following properly.
Mr. May, you're going to speak on Mr. Jahouri's amendment, which is simply to change it from 95 minutes to 60 minutes.
I actually have a point of order, Mr. Chair, and I didn't want to interrupt my colleague.
Free to.
Go ahead. You had suggested that my colleague Mr. Souza could not amend his own amendment, but it was not amend his own motion, but his motion was amended. So I just want to get clarity from the clerk that Mr. Souza has the privilege to move an amendment at this point. I stand to be corrected on that, and I just would very much like to know if that's the case.
Yeah, I can pass over to the clerk, or I can just tell you that that is the case, because it's in his.
So even though his motion was,
it's in his name, is the issue.
I understand, but his motion was amended a couple times.
Yeah, it's still his motion, though.
His motion was amended a couple of times, and he does not have the right to then move an amendment on that motion. Is that correct?
Well, you won't listen to me, so I'll hand it over to clerk to tell you the same thing.
That is my understanding, sir. If you'd like me to double check that, I can on your behalf. At this point, we do have an amendment put forward by Mr. Jahouri, but certainly to clear the record, I don't mind going back and checking that for you, sir, if you like.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
That's somewhat beside the point, because we do have Mr. Jahouri actually put through the amendment that I assume Mr. Souza did. Is anyone else on the speaking list on Mr. Jawhari's amendment to change it to 1 hour, with the assumption being not side by side, but 1 hour to 1 hour? Perfect. We can move to a vote on that, on Mr. Jawhari's amendment. Perfect. We'll do a recorded vote.
The vote is on the amendment put forward by Mr. Jawhari. Ms. Sidhu,
Yes.
Mr. Baines,
Yes.
Mr. Jawhari,
Yes.
Mr. May,
Yes.
Mr. Souza,
Yes.
Ms. Block,
No.
Mr. Genevis,
No.
Mr. Brock,
No.
Mesdames Vignola,
Vive les compromis. Oui.
Mr. Backrack.
Yes.
7-3, sir. Adopted.
So that's adopted 7-3. Can we now vote on the amended original motion from Mr. Souza? Okay, we'll go to recorded vote. I'll give you a 30-second warning, Mr. Anthony. We will get back to you very shortly if you want to come back online. Go ahead, sir.
The question is on the main motion put forward by Mr. Souza, now amended. Ms. Sidhu,
Yes.
Mr. Baines,
Yes.
Mr. Jawhari,
Yes.
Mr. May,
Yes.
Mr. Souza. Thumbs up for Mr. Souza. Ms. Block.
Yes. Yes. Sorry, it's off. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Block.
No.
Mr. Genevis,
No.
Mr. Brock,
No.
Mesdames Vignola,
Oui.
Mr. Backrack.
No.
6-4 is
Okay, 6-4. So it is carried. Leave it with me and the clerk, and I think Mr. Jawhari as vice chair to figure out who will be at what time, if that's fine with everyone. Thanks very much. Mr. Anthony, I apologize for the delay. Thank you. We are now back to Mr. Berthold for 5 minutes. Mr. Berthold, go ahead, sir.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Chair, is my sound okay? Mr. Anthony, you and your partner, Mr. Firth, found a perfect recipe to enrich yourself on the back of Canadians without employees and all that, and without the laxism of the Liberal government asking for accountability. Mr. Chair, could the MP please repeat? The interpreter missed the last part of the question.
Your question, Mr. Berthold?
All the question?
Please, just start from the beginning. I'll reset your time.
OK, merci. Monsieur Anthony, vous...
Mr. Anthony, you and your partner, Mr. Firth, seems to have found the perfect recipe to enrich yourself on the backs of Canadians without technical knowledge, without employees, without Mr. Trudeau's, and with the laxism of the Liberal government opening you the doors. Is there anyone from the Liberal government who questioned your business model since 2015?
No.
C'est pas vraiment surprenant.
It's not very surprising. According to the figures we have, Mr. Anthony, even the Auditor General cannot confirm the figures because of the lack of details on the invoices, the fact that Mr. Firth is calling everyone talking about these liars. Your numbered company and yourself could have earned millions of dollars since 2015 in contracts. Is that correct?
I'm not sure what you're referencing.
Combien d'argent avez-vous...
How much money did you earn from federal contracts since 2015, you and your numbered company?
I don't have that information with me right now.
Monsieur Anthony,
Mr. Anthony, an ordinary Canadian having millions of dollars entering into an account can't say whether it's 4 million, 5 million, 500,000. It seems to be pennies for you, but for many people, lining up on the food banks is a lot of money. So the figures we are giving you between 4 and 5 million, is that the profit that you personally earned from the contracts?
Again, I don't have those numbers in front of me.
vous pouvez pas dire
You cannot say, Mr. Anthony, you cannot tell us whether you earned more than $4 million from federal contracts since 2015. You can't tell us that.
No.
plus de 5 millions?
More than 5 million?
I don't have those numbers in front of me.
Plus de 6 millions?
6 million?
I don't have those numbers in front of me.
Plus de 7 millions, Monsieur Anthony?
More than 7 million?
I don't have those numbers in front of me.
Plus de 8 millions, Monsieur Anthony?
More than 8 million, Mr. Anthony?
I don't have any numbers in front of me.
Donc, vous pouvez même pas nous dire
Even tell us how many $1 million you earned from Canadian tax payers since you set up your company. Mr. Anthony, you were very greedy. I believe your business model has shown this to us very clearly. You came up with a formula and you decided you made a lot of money and you claim not to have read the AG's report. You should be ashamed, Mr. Anthony.
avez-vous honte, Monsieur?
Are you ashamed that you are not able to tell Canadians how much you earned from Canadian taxpayers using your business model that involves making a lot of money without any technical knowledge?
No.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much, Chair. Nothing else for this witness.
Thank you, Mr. Berthold. Next, I have some from the Liberals, but I don't have the speaking order. Sorry, who's up next with the? Oh, Mr. Baines, do you have a point of order, sir?
It's my turn, I believe.
Are you going to go? Perfect. Thanks very much. Go ahead, Mr. Baines.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just going to try to add some clarity to what I feel like we've learned over the last little while here. So we learned. I asked Mr. Firth yesterday about whether this process of how the industry operates and how contracts are procured, and you talked about being in working in 2005. He indicated that his earliest work with government was 2007, and he said that the process has not changed since then, to which I was surprised. And to Mr. Berthold's question about if anybody asked, did anybody ask, do you feel the same way, that the process has not changed since your time, 2005 to now?
The process, I believe, has been in place since 2003.
So 2003, even before you got there. So you're ultimately playing within the rules that have been set, and they have not changed since 2003.
They would have changed a small bit with the number of vendors in certain, let's say, a tier 1 RFP. At one point, there used to be 5 vendors invited. Now it's a minimum of 15. So
yeah, that could simply be because of the scope of the work has increased, etc., and there's more work required at this time, right? Is that safe to say?
Yes, could be for a number of reasons.
Okay, so, and you're being the security